So being an American who's living in the Netherlands, I often get suggested a lot of videos from Americans moving and leaving the United States. And now these videos are usually pretty standard, but the one that I saw today, the opening sentence that this girl used in the video made me really appreciate raising my kids here in the Netherlands. And look, after I tell you what she said, you will definitely understand. So the family and I are getting ready to head to Italy for a few days, and we're just kind of wrapping things up. I'm also wrapping things up with work because I'll be gone for a minute. And man, Kid Sky Money had his final level 4 ski lesson this past weekend, and oh my gosh, like something just went through me. And I do mean this in the best way possible. I mean, after seeing him do his thing on the skis, matter of fact, I posted a video about it on the membership, so go check it out if you can. But between that and then just seeing this random video of this woman talking about why she left America really made me appreciate where I'm at. And not just that, but just that my kids get to grow up here. And now, if I'm being real, this video was not planned. It wasn't even on the list of videos that I wanted to make. But I'm telling you, I just had this feeling of just being wild that my kids get to have this life. Raising a family here is something, especially as an American, is something that is just priceless. And so now, what the heck did this girl say at the beginning of the video that made me scrap my video plans and make something about raising my kids here in the Netherlands? Well, look, we're gonna pull up at this cafe. I've always wanted to stop by this place. This one right here. I think it's called Cafe Kroll, or right in the pipe. Grab a drink and we gotta talk about this, man. So now this girl who made this video and like shook me the first opening like 10 seconds. Now, before I tell you, brace yourself, especially if you have kids, because man, not for nothing, what she said will definitely have you just kind of, make you want to just give all your kids a hug, like, and just like hold them tight, because literally first 10 seconds of the video, her opening sentence was, she said 3 times she had to lock her young students in a closet because there was an active shooter at her school. Like, come on, right? Like, tell me that don't give you the feels, man. I just saw it today, and I can't wait to get home to see my kids. Man, it's like, oh man, it just gives you, cause dang, it's so real. It gives you the feels for real because it's so real. Like, because these things keep happening over there in the States. I mean, it pushed this teacher so far that she was just like, I gotta get out of here. Like, she was done. And I did not watch the whole video, but I did get to a part of the video where she mentions how she felt so fortunate that her husband was from Norway or Norwegian. Her husband was Norwegian, and she was able to move that way. But she just expressed something that I see and express myself every day when I go outside, or every day I wake up living here. And that is just the amount of gratitude and how lucky I am to be able to be in this position, to live here, to raise my kids here, and not have to worry about like school shootings. Cause it does something to you. And I don't know how to explain this, but when you're just in a similar situation like this, and I mean, I've been in similar situations like this growing up, but as an adult, when my wife was at that mall and there was a shooter at the mall, like that really, like, it does something to you. It's so hard to imagine like your wife or your husband or just someone that close to you to be in that situation. Now imagine your son or your daughter being in that situation. And that's the trip. That's the one that I'm just like, the safety here is just so amazing for kids. Like, the kids can go to parks, they can walk to school, they can bike to school, they can be outside every day, rain, snow, whatever. They can be outside. You'll see them outside with families. You'll see them outside with other kids. And even if they're alone, the culture here is to look after people who need that looking after. I mean, look, this is just what I was told, and this is how I feel. Like, this is what I've seen myself. Adults look at kids as like, we see kids here as treasures, as like something priceless, and children need protection and guidance. And in the States, it's just, I'll be honest, it's not the same. It's more like, since everyone's out for themselves and it's very individualistic, kids are almost seen as a burden. Matter of fact, if you go to the States and you just listen to how people talk about kids when they're around like children, not old now, I'll be honest, older people like seniors don't talk about kids this way. But I have noticed there was a shift, I don't know when, but there just seemed like there was a shift where kids and teenagers became more of an annoyance than just priceless children that need our help and guidance. And just like here, you'll see the same thing when you go to Asia too. Like I know in like Japan and China, you will see this. You'll see that people look out for kids, like they look after kids. Like even if they don't have nothing to do with this kid, everybody's like hidden duty is to look after people who need looking after. Which is why in Japan you'll see like 5-year-olds taking a train. I mean, they have a whole show on this. But it's also why you'll see just young kids taking the train here, as well as walking and biking freely and just have so much independence. While in the States, their independence is like dying. Okay, let me take off these gloves because y'all know what time it is. Go ahead, I know y'all want it. Go ahead. You know, there is just something special about this place when it comes to family, community, and just raising a family here. And I really mean this. I mean, even when I went in to go pay, that place is kind of like a bar, but they had like things for kids there, like things for babies and kids to play with, books for kids to read, puzzles for kids to solve, like just all of these things at a place like that, that small bar cafe vibe-ish. And again, I am so grateful and so privileged and so lucky to be able to raise kids here. Kids riding by daily and being with their parents, and like I'm so lucky. Especially as a kid coming from the hood of Chicago, it does not have to be like this for me. And not a day goes by that I will ever forget that. Like I will never forget where I came from, and I will never forget how lucky I am, because this place is truly special when it comes to raising family here or raising kids here. I'll be honest, I don't remember like my mom taking us to the park and things like that, because she had to work. Like that's just how it is. She had to work all the time, so it was very rare. Like I don't think we've ever been to a park together. We never played outside together, like, you know what I mean? We never did any of those things that my kids get to do every day. And now I do want to make it clear, I am not saying that my mom wasn't there for me, but what I'm saying is you're seeing this a lot today in America, where family members don't get to really hang out that much unless it's the weekend. But I mean, even that, like it's starting to die off. Like the family bond and the family structure is just kind of dying. And it's not even that people want it to die. It's not that people don't want to have families. It's not that they don't want to spend time with their families. It is simply that things are kind of getting out of hand over there, and people have to work. And nowadays, people have to have 2 jobs just to survive. So now that whole family bond and the whole family structure is just crumbling. Plus, the values are different in the States, and it's not so focused on family like it is here in Europe as well as in Asia. Just take, for example, when your kids get older and they finish high school, they're like supposed to get a job, go to college, and then like move out, right away. Versus here, it's the opposite. It's just more about spending time with one another. And that's what, when I think about, like, even when I think about my kids growing up and getting to that age, I don't think I would push them to move out. I'm just being honest. I know it's very common in the States, but I don't think I would do that. I can't. I don't think I can do that. Also, along with that too, I get to give them so many different experiences. But even just that, even Italy, and just having this whole experience of going to Italy, I mean, I'm so excited about it, but what makes me even more excited is my kids get to experience this. But yeah, I'm just so proud of them, and I'm so happy that I am able to provide these experiences. And I'm not gonna lie, being here lets me provide these experiences, because the cost of living and all of these things that factor in, because just the national average of childcare in the States alone, just childcare, is about $550 a week, and that's only for 2 days for one kid. And that's not even the craziest part. The craziest part about that whole situation is I lowballed it. The numbers, it said higher, and I was just like, nah, I can't even believe that. Let me just lower it again. And I do want to state that that is just the national average that I found online looking into it after a friend of mine told me how expensive their childcare was. I just looked into it, and I'm like blown away. And since it's the average, that means you could be in places that it's a lot lower, but you can also be in a couple of places that's extremely high. But even if you wanted to go super conservative with it and just say, for 2 days, one child, say it's like $300, that's still a lot, because that's per week, not per month, per week.
All I need is you, baby.
And my kids and I love trams and trains, and yeah, we love all this stuff, man. So yeah, we're so happy here, man. Also, quick side note, right when I moved here, I actually worked, my first job was actually not in that building right there, but kind of over there somewhere. And it's a really nice area over there. And now the job was temporary, but it was a great stepping stone to where I am now. And not for nothing, it was temporary because the girl was actually having a baby. She was pregnant and getting ready to have a baby, and she was gonna be out for 9 months. 9 months. Wow. We're able to actually be there for them, you know, because we get time off when our babies are born and stuff. I was able to actually get time off and spend time with them and let my wife rest, and it's just something that's truly amazing about the whole experience that I cannot put my finger on. But just letting the kids be kids and letting the babies be babies and being there for them, like being able to be there for them. I think as American, that's just something that hits home, because it gives you the feels, man. Like, that's all I gotta say. It's hard to get something like that in the States. In a recent video I made about Dutch neighborhoods, a comment that I got the most was about how I did not mention how many schools were in neighborhoods. I mean, out of all the things to pull up on me for, the biggest one in that video was I forgot to mention that there were so many schools in neighborhoods. Like, come on, tell me that's not, like, there is something special about that. Quick side note, I walk through here all the time. I never noticed this hotel right there. Look at this. Hotel Notting Hill. Come on, pimp. I love that movie.